we were hoping that you could share a little bit about your journey. This is your 5th year in our school division. So, yeah, how'd you get to be where you are today?
Well, my journey started when I first got my job in Duck Lake teaching pre-K, and I definitely had an idea of what pre-K should look like to me. And my mom was a preschool teacher, so I kind of had taken that with me. And then I had the kind of, I guess, my good first introductory to the division with Sam and Trish. They kind of challenged me to think about how I want to teach as a teacher, and I didn't agree with them right off the bat, which was excellent for me, and they kind of pushed me when I needed to be pushed to become the teacher that I am now. And they were there for me when I needed them all the time, to keep challenging me and to keep moving forward when I needed that next step. And then I was lucky to move on to kindergarten with my sister, and she became my bouncing board. We helped each other, we shared ideas, and we still do. And I think that's an important key to both of us being the way we teach, is having someone that you can, share your struggles and help problem solve. After that, I got I got brought to Aberdeen teaching grade 1, and that's where I kind of hit my next roadblock. I had really liked the inquiry learning, and I liked how involved the students were and how excited they were about learning and listening to their voice, and I didn't know how to do that in grade 1. I kind of, again, had that same idea of what a classroom should look like in grade 1, and it didn't meet with what I found was engaging for students and for myself. So I joined a Reader's Workshop with Amanda Bernetsky, and then I found that the Reader's Workshop was all about listening to student voice, and that is exactly what I wanted. And so I struggled a couple times with that and started over 3 times till I got it right. But then I realized that I could do more with this workshop model. I could do it in Writer's Workshop as well. And then I thought, well, maybe I should start doing my Explore time again. And then I got into bringing in that kind of time for them to follow their own ideas and to listen to their things they want to learn about and how excited they were. And I struggled with it because, you have people that hand you things that you think they should be doing in grade 1, and then it didn't fit with me. And so it was trying things out and seeing where everything fit, and just, I guess, staying true to what you believe in. And then I got transferred to Rostern, and it was my second time in grade 1, which gave me a really good opportunity to kind of dig into this grade and explore more. So that's when I started trying things in math and science and social, and trying what I thought was a workshop model in those grades, and just trying to keep everything hands-on and discussion-based. And then, I got into grade 2. And again, I hit that same roadblock, like, can I do what I was doing in grade 1 in grade 2? And I think now that I've hit that roadblock so many times, I kind of said, no, I'm okay. Not that I didn't panic at times throughout the year and go, how am I gonna do this? So Jackie, my learning facilitator, she was really good for helping me and sitting down with me and telling me, like, no, you're fine. You can keep doing what you want to do. And she helped me realize more community things that I didn't know how to include in my curriculum and in the lessons that we do, and just really keeping it very meaningful to the students. And so I guess that's kind of my learning journey.
Terilyn, you talked a lot about, you used the language of roadblocks, and you talked about starting over again quite a few times, even in that first year in grade 1. What kept you trying?
What kept me trying is seeing how excited the students were and how engaged they were and how proud they were. Just to see the passion that they would have when they would be sharing or when they were able to do something. Like, I knew that it was engaging for them because they were so excited. I guess one of the big things for me was it was an inside recess, and they would rather have done Readers and Writers Workshop than play with the Lego. And that was like a moment where I went, oh, like, this works. Like, they are so engaged that they would rather do these things that we do every day than play with special Lego at recess. And then it became like, how else can I get this everywhere in my classroom? And then that's kind of where I guess the push came for, because they were so excited and wanting to do everything hands-on.
Yes. So what do you think's making the kids want to choose doing Readers or Writers Workshop instead of going and playing at recess? What is it about it that's appealing to them?
That they are in charge, and I guess also like the passion that we have, and we talk about it, and I like teaching this way, so it's passionate to me, and I feel like maybe sometimes that comes across to them, and they know that, you know, my favorite thing to do is to read, and they talk about it a lot, and so then they talk about what they like, and then you try to get those things in your classroom. Like I have a really good student who loves to build, and so it's putting that stuff out there for him because it's engaging. So making sure the things that are out there are meaningful, and revisiting the things that you do so that you can build on it and can become more engaged, I guess.
So when you talk about that and the kids' interests, how has that impacted what your classroom looks like?
Well, everything that I put in my classroom, I try to think about how are the students going to use it, how am I going to use it, and how does it match with what we're doing. So everything that is out has a purpose. I put a variety of things in the room, like this bee's nest, out to sometimes just spark a conversation. So this bee's nest has been here for 2 years, and it comes up probably 4 times a year, whether someone's learning about bees or someone finds, like, I mean, in that last section, somebody found the inside of a bee's nest and brought it to school, and we had a debate of whether or not that bee's nest would actually look like that on the inside. And so that kind of led us to bringing out books and watching videos to try to find what actually does the inside of a bee's nest look like. And then also like the boxes of displaying their clay and their things that they found outside. Like that has so many different connections, whether it's art where they were mimicking pumpkins, or the explore time where they made a clay plate. You know, it's just displaying their work and their wonders and putting it out there for them to hopefully inspire others in the classroom to help, and even just for them to look at and recognize that that's theirs and to be proud about it. So putting their work out wherever you can, I find is important to give them confidence and to hopefully inspire other students. It's an area that like any student can work at, and I find that a lot of students that maybe fidget a little bit love working here because they can just stick their hand right in and they play with it, helps them to focus. And though it looks really pretty, it's also purposeful. You know, they can play with it. They've taken them out and made patterns with the rocks from dollar store and the actual rock.
You've had quite a few teachers come into your room and be a part of your classroom this year.
Yeah.
So what kind of questions do you get from teachers, and what has that challenged you in your mind?
Well, one of the things I get asked a lot, and actually it was something I struggled with for 3 years now, was how do I use my conferring notes? And that this year, that was my big push, I guess, because I struggled with the same thing. And that was the question I got every single time. What do you do with all your conferring notes when you're done with them? And how do you use them? And I would tell them, oh, I use it to help me plan, and I use it during writing report cards. But like them, I struggled with, well, you have so many sheets, it's really, or notebooks or whatever you use, it's really hard to keep track and to go through them all. And so it wasn't till probably March that I knew someone was going to ask me about it. So I thought, okay, I got to have an answer, because I had been thinking about it and kind of talking with other teachers, and I had thought about creating a sheet where I summarized each month that matches with the curriculum and the report card. And so I guess I took the time to sit there and play with things, and I talked to a couple of teachers in the school to see what they thought, and then that I was able to share that. So that's a question, I guess, that came up a lot that pushed me to go to my next step. It challenged me.
You use your conferring notes a lot. Is there, what else do you use when it comes to assessment in the report card?
I do a lot of documentation through pictures and through student words and sticky notes, which I struggle with a lot, because I had this idea, and I still fight with this, that you have to use a rubric or a checklist so that when parents come in or anything, you can show them like, oh, well, this is why they have that mark. But in pre-KK, I got started with documentation through pictures and me writing about what they're doing. And I really loved that style of assessment. And so I tried bringing it up with me, and I still use it now. And I love it, and my students love it.
And what gives you confidence to keep going that way?
I don't know. I always do feel a little bit unsure with it. I guess it's just like, will people think it's okay, is what I struggle with. But in my heart, I know that it is, because it is so meaningful. And
So have your kids given you any other evidence that what you're doing is working, as far as that they're learning and they're retaining?
Well, definitely this year, because I had them for 2 years. They bring up things I talked about last year all the time. Like it's really funny, the things they remember, and oh yeah, we did this last year. Well, remember when Miss Elliott said this? And
so any advice, last words that you would give to teachers starting out? Or
I know, though it seems hard, don't be afraid to take a risk and to put yourself out there and to ask for help, I guess. That was one of the things that really led to my success, was not being afraid to ask for help and to be pushed when you need to be pushed, to be challenged, to keep yourself challenged and going and trying new things and finding what works for you. So be true to yourself as a teacher, I guess.